Good morning, children. Welcome to your English language live class. So today we will be discussing a very important question, right? That is comprehension question based on comprehension passage. Okay. So what is a comprehension passage? Basically, it is an unseen passage. It is a passage, right, where which is given in order to test your reading skill and your ability to understand the main theme or the general idea which is given in the comprehension, and then your ability to express the answers to the questions in your own words. So you don't have to basically quote the answers from the comprehension unless and until it is asked, but you have to write down the answers in your own words. Okay. So first, let's see what our questions
Are asked in the comprehension passage.
Okay. So as you can see that this is a comprehension passage and it is ending over here. So the first question which you can see on your screen, question A, it is related to the meaning. Give the meaning of the words used in the passage. Okay, one word answer or a short phrase is accepted. So when you are asked to give the answer, then you're not supposed to write out a complete sentence or a long sentence. So this question is made in, it is asked in two forms. One, they will ask the question, the word right from the passage. They will pick out the words from the passage and will ask you to write down the meaning. The second way is they will give you the meaning and they'll ask you to find out the word with the same meaning from the passage. Okay. So these are the two ways in which this first question is asked in your board examination. So the same pattern we will be following. Part B contains 5 questions where you have to give the answers, answer the questions briefly in your own words. So you'll be required to write down the answers in your own words. So part B contains 5 questions. Now part C, here you are asked to write down a précis. Okay, and this question contains, this part contains one question. You're not asked to write down the summary of the complete passage, but a specific portion is being asked and you will have to write down a précis, okay, a short version in 50 words. So your word limit is 50 and it should not exceed, right? So these are the 3 types of questions which are asked from comprehension passage. I hope this thing is clear. Okay, so now if this is clear, we will move on to the instructions or the guidelines which you people need to follow in order to attempt the questions of comprehension. All right, can you people see the screen? Fine. Now, first thing is that you will see a passage, then you don't have to look at the question first, right? That is the wrong approach, which most of you follow. You look at the question and then you start finding out the answer. That is not the way of attempting a comprehension passage. So first of all, when you look at the passage, you have to read the passage, skim and scan the passage. That means first reading should be very quick one. Okay, you just have to go through the passage, read it, then you have to go again and read it for the second time. Now here, now you have to scan the passage. That means you have to understand, you have to get the meaning of the passage. Okay, so 2 readings. Then what you should do is that after the second reading, you should read the question. Now after reading the question, you should get an idea that what all areas you are required to lay stress on, okay, to focus on. So that is the point when you are required to read the question. So never ever read the question in the first reading. Understood? Then the second point says write the meaning of the word in the exact same tense. So if the question is in the past tense, if the word is in the past tense, okay, suppose you have to write down the meaning of assigned, not assign. Okay, so if you are asked to write down the meaning of assigned, then you have to write down the meaning in the past tense only. Okay, is that thing clear? So the tense should be exactly the same. If you're going to change the tense, you're not getting marks for that. Next, mark and underline the answers to each question in the passage. Then write the answers to the question in your own words. So yes, you will be required to find out where the answer lies in the passage, but that does not mean that you have to just copy and paste. You don't have to copy and paste the things which are given in the passage exactly. You will have to write it in your own words, like you do for your literature answers, right? I've told you that you're not supposed to write down the answers exactly in the same word, but you have to change the words. You have to change the language, right? The answer will remain the same, but the language will change. Now, about your answers, these are the points which are required for your answer to be correct. First, that you should write the complete sentences. Second, everything which you're writing in the answer should be relevant and to the point. Don't write very lengthy answers because each question carries 2 marks only. Okay, so you have to write accordingly. Then your answers should be simple and grammatically correct. What are simple answers? The answers which have short sentences, okay, which are not joined with a lot of conjunctions and a lot of relative pronoun. So don't do that, right? You should not use a lot of clauses, relative clauses, defining clauses, non-defining clauses. Don't do that. Just try to write small, short, crisp sentences, and the answer should be to the point. And of course, it should be grammatically correct. You should not copy it from the passage. Then again, the tense of your answer. See, this is nothing new. You already know. I've already told you the way of writing the answers in your literature paper, right? So when the question is asked in past tense, you write the answer in past tense. Then the question is asked in the present tense, you write the answer in the present tense. Arav, pay attention. Later on, you people make a lot of blunder. So comprehension seems easy, but it isn't. Okay, it can prove to be tricky also if you don't know the way of writing down the answer. So the tense which you have to pay attention. So that is why it is asked that never ever attempt any question in a hurry. Okay, you should read the question, and when you will read the question, you will understand. You will read the tense. So if the question, see, whenever you see the word did in the question, that means it is asked in past. So you have to write down the answer in past. Okay, even if in the chapter there's a direct speech and the a sentence is in present tense, still you will have to write in past. Okay, and when the question has to be written in present tense, like if it is asked what does he do, okay, after this, so you have to write down the answer in the present tense even if it is given in the past in the story or in the passage. Next is stick to the facts or information given in the passage. So there can be a possibility that you already know the unseen passage, whatever is given, you already know about it, right? And you know more than what is given. Suppose a passage comes on global warming, so you might be knowing some other points as well which are not given in the passage. Okay, or suppose some story comes, adapted and abridged version of some novel has come, and you have read that novel completely and you know a lot and lot of stuff, okay, besides what is given in the passage. So you have to let alone those knowledge at one side, and you have to stick to the passage. So whatever facts or information which are given in the passage, that only have to be mentioned in your answer, nothing else. Okay, because it is supposed to be an unseen passage, so you'll have to treat it as an unseen passage only, right? Even if you have read it before, even if you have a good deal of idea about it before, but you are supposed to just mm, stick to the fact, or take it as an unseen passage only. Okay, so this is about how you write the answers and the meaning. Now we come to the C part, the third part which is given in your unseen passage, that is précis. So what are the guidelines of writing a précis? First of all, that you have to read the précis multiple times, right? Read the comprehension multiple times, because when you will read the passage, then only you will be able to understand, then only you will be able to curtail it, actually shorten it, right? And then you have to make a numbered grid with 5 columns and 10 rows, and mention the total number of words towards the end as given below. So never ever write down a précis in the form of passage, right? It should not be a paragraph. It should always be written in this form, in this tabular manner. And this is also very important, numbering. If you will not number your grids, your rows and columns, you're not getting marks. Okay, is this thing clear? And then this thing also carries mark, total number of words. So you have to write down total number of words. Okay, 1 or 2 words less is okay, but not but if you exceed 50, then you're losing marks. 48, 49, 50, these three are okay. 51, not acceptable. Understood? Then it is said that word count should not exceed 50 words. Do not use abbreviations or contractions. Okay, so you're not supposed to use abbreviations. Okay, whatever is given, you have to write the full form. If it is given in full form in the Prezi, you don't have to quote examples of figures given in the passage. Okay, you have to skip it and write down the gist basically. You have to use indirect speech. Do not quote the dialogues from the passage. Then tenses are to be maintained. If you are writing you have to first of all see the question. If the question is in past, you have to write the entire presi in the past tense. If the question is in present, you have to write down entire presi in the present tense. If the question, if you know the tense depends upon you, then you have to maintain the tense from the beginning till the end. Okay, don't switch between present and past and future. Right? Now coming to this punctuation marks which are accepted. Only full stops and commas are accepted. No other punctuation marks are required. No hyphen, no exclamation mark, no question mark, no colon, no semicolon, nothing. Only full stop and comma. This is the most important point, right? And where do you put these punctuation marks? In the cell of the preceding word. Like suppose here you have to put place a full stop. Um, suppose here girl is written, so you will put a full stop over here only, and you will start another sentence, another word from here. Understood? So if one sentence is ending here, then you will place a full stop along with that last word of the sentence, and then in the next grid you will write the first word of the new sentence, right? Then ensure a smooth logical flow of point. Do not write very long sentences. If you will write long sentences, then you'll tend to make grammatical errors. Okay, so that is why it is always advised that you should write short sentences. Sorry. Then you have to check that Prezi retains the order, proportion, and relationship of the original passage. So the flow, the pattern should not break. Whatever is given in the passage, at whatever point it is given in the passage, the same way you have to follow. Have you people understood this? So this is all about your unseen passage and Prezi writing. You'll be getting an assignment shortly. That is why I have taken up it in this class, so that you people get an idea of how you have to attempt it. Okay. In case you people have any doubt or query, keep it, note it down somewhere. We will discuss it tomorrow, because tomorrow again we have a class. So thank you, children.